Hello, beautifuls. From the other side of your mirror, I have to share something with you. I feel like my friend needs to invoice me for the time that we just spent talking about something, because I had a major revelation, which really at the age of 52, almost 53, is shocking that I didn't have this revelation before. Or maybe it just is landing now. So like you, I've got a story. I'm sure you've overcome a lot of stuff as well. As a kid, I grew up in many different homes. I didn't have an alcoholic father. I had four, and I was raised by a whole bunch of different people in different places. There was a lot of physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and I have forgiven. I can look you in the eye and say I have forgiven and released those people, and I also have asked for forgiveness of those that I have hurt. But we were talking about a couple of things, and then I just had this thing drop into my spirit, like, why do I still struggle with this one thing? I have forgiven these people. And sometimes it's the little things. Sometimes the bigger traumas that should be seen as bigger, like sexual abuse, or like being beaten when you're 5 years old until your bum bleeds, or until stuff like that, right? And this is not a reflection on anybody else, really. Like, my mom freaking did the best that she could. She's a wonderful woman, and my late great father did his best as well. But still, at the age of 52. I struggle at school. And, I was there, as recently as yesterday morning, and then last week, and there's lots of sports, and there's gala coming up, and I love being there for my kids, and, shouting loud, even if they can't hear me shouting when they're underwater swimming. Like, I love to be there for them. I didn't have that. There was no one there at school for me, of all the schools that I attended. And talking about school, sometimes I was at a different school every 6 months, every 9 months, every year. Taken out of school, ripped out, and put into another one. You know what it's like to be the new kid on the block every single time, every 6 months, every 12 months. It's effing hard. But I've dealt with all of those other things, and it turns out I haven't dealt with the school gate. When every time I'm at school, I have two hearts. One, I love school because I loved school because it was this place that was safer than home. Okay, home was evil, and I loved school, and even boarding school. And even though there was some traumatic times, I loved it. But I also was very, very, my other heart is I'm very anxious because I was always the new kid on the block. I was always, I was bullied badly, like by two boys. Not my whole school career, but only, when I was little, and there was this big kid, Jethro. I have forgiven you, Jethro. So, but I never really spent any time of all the therapy that I've done and all the counseling, the personal development, the money that I've invested in myself, the time and the effort to really get over my shit and just, get stand on my own 2 feet and take what has happened to me and turn it around and use it for positive fuel and stuff. I didn't deal with the school gate. And the other, and I was saying, like, I don't know why, I'm just still anxious. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've really dealt with always being the new kid on the block. So you naturally, automatically, you feel on the outside always. It doesn't matter what happens. Whether there's something positive or negative at school, I feel on the outside all the time. And almost like this really childlike, well, we'll probably have to move on soon anyway, or we'll probably have to, or there's change going to come soon anyway. So it's just, I've got this temporary feeling about it, which is not the truth, because my kids will be at that school. Like, my son is finishing this year, and we have moved around for different reasons as they've been kids. And I've homeschooled them, when I homeschooled my son for 6 years, and then he got to like junior math. I'm like, time to go to school. And, but my girl has got 7 years, and I'll be damned if she does it in any other school other than the one that she is in right now. Like, I love that school. I'm a huge advocate of that school. Anyway, but there's this anxiety inside me. I'm like, when I'm at school, and I just realized I know it doesn't sound very big, but I had this realization, like, I still always feel like the new kid on the block. Like, what the hell is up with that? That's ridiculous, right? I've dealt with things like so much, like, I might be going through a storm right now, but that's just a storm of life. It's not a storm of the past. It's not. I've dealt with those things, and I'm grateful for coaches and mentors that have been in my life, and I've done the work. I've invested the time, the money, and the effort. I feel confident in who I am. I really do. In fact, I'm a confidence coach. I teach confidence and self-esteem and all that stuff, and I love what I do. So why do I feel so shaky at school? And I realized I haven't dealt with all of those incidents maybe at the school gate or because I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not the new kid on the block. I'm a mom. I love that school. I love seeing my kids thrive there. They're absolutely thriving, both of them. And I'm just going to sound ridiculous. Maybe I share this video, maybe I don't. I don't know. But maybe there's something in your life also where you've dealt with lots of things, right? Like, it would make sense that the beatings and the sexual abuse and the other, and being raised by different people in different homes are the bigger traumas. But school, I underestimated that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't cry now because I just put my lashes on, for goodness sake, okay? We're not doing this now, Linda. Later, maybe. I underestimated the trauma of being the new kid on the block, which is why I'm determined my kid is going to stay in this school for another 7 years. The trauma of moving, the kids are resilient. And yes, a move now and then, it's not a bad thing. But not 74 times like I've moved in life, and not the number of times I was moved as a kid. Then it becomes traumatic. Then it becomes there's no ground to stand on. I'm sharing this with you if I choose to. Look in your own life. Where do you feel uncomfortable? Where are you feeling anxiety? Because that's not normal. Where are you feeling a lack of confidence in your life? Because that's something you haven't dealt with. That is something perhaps that you have underestimated like I did. I can't believe I overlooked this thing. I've never, ever considered hey, Linda, do you still feel like a new kid on the block at your kid's school? Like, how bizarre does that sound? But it's true. And I always ask myself one question when I'm seeking breakthrough in something, or I'm seeking strength, or I'm like, what is the truth? And the truth is, I'm not a new kid on the block at that school. It's not my school. It's my kid's school. And I love that school. But the truth is also, I didn't deal with all the trauma of attending, 10, 11, 12 different schools. It's traumatic. Sometimes every 9 months, it was traumatic. So I've got a little bit of work to do. So if I choose to share this, it's just to say, what is there in your life? Do you feel a lack of confidence in a certain area where it doesn't make sense? Because if you do, there's something there that needs your time and attention. And I'm going to give this my time and attention.